Hello everyone, this is Kevin, and today we're going to talk about something important to you guys, exam stress and how to manage it with good, effective studying habits. And so with me today, I'm joined by Ms Shuli, Academic Director from Learning Lab. So I'll just invite her to introduce herself.
Thank you. So my name is Shuli. I'm the Academic Director here at the Learning Lab, and I'm also an English teacher. And I became a teacher because I think that it's very, very important to instill a love for learning in students. And I want them to love the language, not fear it. I really want them to love English.
Wow, okay. Must love studying.
Yes.
Okay, great. A love for language and learning.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great. So we're going to talk about it today as well.
Okay.
But before that, let's explore the topic of stress. Because according to research, stress is actually a very significant stressor in students' lives. Academic stress, exam stress. So in your experience, do your students get more stress towards exams?
Actually, there's no hard and fast answer to that. I would say that some of them do get stressed closer to the exams. That's probably more normal. But there are students who actually are stressed throughout the year, or throughout their school careers, because they worry that every little thing that they do is leading up to the exam, right? They worry that everything that they do is going to affect their final result or their future in some way. So they are continually stressed.
I see. And what factors actually affect that level of stress?
I think probably there are three main ones. So the first one is expectations. I think that, if their teachers have expectations of them or their parents have expectations of them, they do take that upon themselves and they can be very stressed by it. I do think that also the level of preparation can affect stress. So some of them might feel underprepared. Some of them are underprepared. Some of them might feel underprepared even though they are not underprepared. So they really worry that they're not going to be able to cope at the exams. And the third one is comparison. I think many of them make comparisons, right, with their peers. So if they see their friends, doing certain things, or they compare their results with their friends, they sometimes wonder, where do I stand, and that can stress them out.
I mean, the last point on comparison really relates to me. It's almost as if you do get straight A's, but there's someone else that gets straight A's and maybe plays 10 musical instruments.
Absolutely.
There's always someone that does something better than you. So it's always that expectation to perform. Always that fear that you're not doing enough.
Definitely.
So also in summary, I think you mentioned a very good point. It's not just the preparation, but also the perception of whether you're prepared.
Definitely.
Right? And I think many students are prepared, but they always feel underprepared.
Yes. Especially Singaporean students.
So, do you have any advice for such students who actually study very hard, but they always feel underprepared, or that fear of failure always overwhelms them?
I think the main one that I do tell them is that don't worry too much. If you know quantitatively that you are prepared, right? You have to trust that. You have to trust that you've done the preparation. And I do tell them also, the more stressed you are nearer the test or the exam, don't do new things. Because I really think that a lot of them will try to cram at the last minute, thinking that it will help them. That's not very helpful. I do tell them, don't do new things. Just go over what you already know and believe that that's enough to carry you through. I had a student recently. He does a lot of preparation. So he produced these huge A3 mind maps. Really, yes, very, very good student. And he's still texting me, what else should I do? What more should I do? So I did tell him, just relax and go over what you've already done. And actually he tends to do very well in the exams. So he doesn't need to worry.
So you must be a great mentor to him.
I try.
Okay. And I think even for students, if let's say you feel underprepared, right? I think sometimes it's good to keep things in perspective. It's not the focus in this video, we're focusing more on study skills. But if there's a concern for you, you might want to, speak to an adult mentor, maybe a teacher or someone you trust. You're trying to get your perspective on things right, in a sense. Okay, great. So we explored stress. We're going to talk more about specifically how to reduce exam stress with proper study skills. Okay, so before we talk about study skills, right, maybe let's let the audience understand what exactly is elusive study skills.
Okay, I don't think it's that difficult actually. I think there's two main things, right? There are your study habits and your study techniques.
Okay, so is there a difference between the both?
Yes, I would say so. I think study habits are more consistent things that you do all the time, right? So things like, making sure that you plan properly, that's a habit, right? Making sure that you track your deadlines, making sure you know when everything is. Those are good habits, right?
Okay.
Taking breaks. Study techniques are particular methods that you use to study something specific. So, do you have a way of memorizing something? Like, do you use mnemonics? Do you use I don't know, like,
Association.
yeah, exactly, yeah, those are the things.
Specific techniques.
Techniques, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so maybe we talk about, now that you know the difference, let's talk about the habits first.
Okay.
Yeah, so what are some good study habits that you would try and inculcate in your students?
The most important thing I tell them all the time is you have to be consistent. I don't think that, cramming last minute is a good idea. I think students tend to underestimate how much time they need to absorb things and to really understand things. So I do tell them you should start early and do it consistently over the year, because you can't memorize things after doing it just once, right? So I do tell them, like, you need to take time to really understand things. I also think that taking breaks is very important. I do have students who think that, if I just write many essays every day, I will improve. Yes, that's true to an extent, but you also need to give your brain downtime, I think, to really, like, process what you have done, process what you have learned, and also so that it doesn't over-stress, basically, Yeah,
I think it's interesting you mentioned, because your brain is like a computer, sometimes you can't overload it, explode.
Yeah.
I mean, for me also, I was so stressed during my A-levels. I just studied 14 hours a day for 1 month. It wasn't a wise idea. Okay. But, and yes, and also you mentioned about the repetition over a period of time rather than cramming.
Yeah.
I think it's a good analogy would be like, you want to get buff, right? You go to the gym. You don't go to the gym one day for 7 hours.
Absolutely, yeah.
You go 7 days for 1 hour each.
Yes, exactly,
right?
yeah.
So it's the same thing for studying as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I do tell them, like, habits aside, I think you should also have no fear when you study. To me, that's very important, because when you study, when you do revision, that's the time to make as many mistakes as you want, to try out different things. I always say better make the mistake now than at the exam. And I also always tell them, you can't write an A essay if you have never written an A essay before. Right, you can't expect to get an A in the exams if you've never written an A essay before. So the consistency really helps to build up to that level of skill, I think.
Right. Well, it's really like, there's this phrase I suddenly remembered, like every big chim but it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Every master was once a disaster.
Oh wow, and it rhymes. Yeah.
Rhymes, right? Okay. So yeah, it's true. I mean, sometimes you just don't take it too hard on yourself. Just slowly improve and you'll be fine.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's more study habits. I think it's good. So we move on to study techniques specifically. Yeah. So is there any study techniques that you would teach?
I teach English specifically, so I do think that students think you don't have to study for English, which is not true, right? So I do tell them that one of the things I really think helps them is quick recall techniques, right? So I'll say, look at the question and just quick recall. How many things can you recall that are associated with it that you would use to answer this technique? If you're writing an essay, how many examples can you think of, right? How many theories? Because I think students in Singapore are very good at memorizing things, right? But the reproduction at the exam, can be kind of difficult sometimes for them. So I always tell them to, train yourself to remember those things in a short period of time. Yeah, so that's one thing that I teach.
Yeah, especially if you don't do well for exams, it's not just the memory, but it's the recall of the information.
Definitely, yes. And making sure that you can recall the information and then, write it in such a way that it fits the question. That's also very important. I always tell them, you must answer the question directly. Don't just copy and paste what you remember. Yeah.
Are there any techniques then to memorize or recall information that you
practice? I always say that you have to practice. A lot of them do something where they just read something again and again, but they don't actually evaluate how much they're absorbing it, right? So I will tell them, like, you need to evaluate. So you read it and then make sure that you practice with a friend, get them to test you, test yourself, and then do that consistently throughout the year. I think that's very important.
And because you talked mainly about English, but do study techniques differ from subject?
I would definitely say so. So like for English, it's a skill. So you have to learn it, you have to really improve it over a period of time. for math, I think really the most important thing is practice, right? Because you can know the concepts, but it's very hard to actually do different sums, when they're presented in a different way, unless you practice, right? And for science, I think key concepts are very important, but being able to apply them to real world problems is also very important, because that's often what they are asked about.
Sure. Yeah. And if let's say there's a student watching this and difficulty with that, like taking the chemistry formula or something and trying to apply, how can they improve? Do they go to teachers? Do they seek help from someone that's maybe peer support? Is there anything that you advise?
There are so many resources that students can make use of. I think never underestimate asking your teachers for help. They're really there to help you, and I think that they are more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. The other thing is talking to your peers. I think students learn when they teach each other. Yeah. So even asking students who are very, very good in the subject to teach you, it helps them. So by all means ask your peers. I also really like YouTube. YouTube has lots of resources. Things like Khan Academy. There's what's that? Crash Course. Yeah. So all those channels really teach students to do different things, and they have a vast range of subjects that you can you can learn about. And finally, I think never underestimate the 10-year series. It's very helpful to practice your 10-year series, because it does give you an idea of what questions are going to come out, right? So
Yeah, I think it's great because we can't cover everything in a short video. So it's more raising your awareness, and you can go and check out the resources that are available as well. And I think we'll put a couple of links in the video. One thing that, I'm not sure whether you heard of it, one thing is free Coursera course. It's called...
So good.
Yeah.
Coursera is really good.
Right?
Yes, it's great.
A specific one is by Barbara Oli. It's called Learning How to Learn.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's specifically about how the brain works, like what techniques you can use to memorize information and recall information. I think it's very good, and you understand how you actually learn, what effective ways your brain can process and actually answer the question. Yeah, so we'll put the link in the video. You can go and check it out.
I need that. I'll go and watch it also.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Okay.
I'll pass it to you.
Okay.
So I guess that's about it for today. Is there any last words, any last advice you'd like to say to the viewers?
Yes, don't panic, guys. Don't panic. School can be very stressful sometimes, but it's very normal. We've all been through it. It's not the end of the world. It'll be fine. Yeah. Breathe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I concur with that. I think failure is, sometimes we stigmatize it. We think that failure is the end of the world. But just don't take failure as a personal failure. Sometimes students, when they fail, they think they have failed as a person.
Yeah, that's absolutely not true.
Yeah. Failure is
not true at all.
Independent from them. Right? And failure is essentially just reflection, time for you to reflect. What can you improve? It's an opportunity to change. Yeah, so we hope that you can take that perspective as well, especially because you will face challenges along the way in your schooling life. It's not going to be a walk in the park.
Definitely, yeah. But it's all part of life. The challenges are all part of life. Yeah.
Okay, great. So with that, thank you very much for watching. We hope that you enjoyed this topic. I hope it added some value to you. Of course, you can check out Learning Lab on Instagram, on socials. If you are keen in their programs as well, you might want to check out their website. And for us, follow us on social as well, Rebound with Resilience. And we wish you all the best in your study endeavors and in life. See you.
Bye.